The inventor of Voice over Internet Protocols technology is Campaign Africa's Innovate Africa feature as we continue to celebrate Africa Month.
If you've ever used Zoom or Microsoft Teams, you need to thank this woman right here. This is Marian Croak, a computer scientist. She's the vice president of engineering at Google. She's also an inventor. She also holds over 200 patents in voice over internet protocol. She helped invent the technology that allows us to use Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google Meetings, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, and even the lives that we see on TikTok. And last year, she was inducted into the Inventors Hall of Fame.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever you are in the world. I'm Eniola Mafe. I am the lead for 2030 Vision on Technology and Sustainable Development at the World Economic Forum. And I have the distinct pleasure of moderating this session on an idea and insight with Marian Croak around the history and the context of this and why it's so important that we think about those from a historical context to bring us and learn from those from that to be able to kind of start thinking about the future and those opportunities.
Yes. You know, if you look at the history of innovation in the world, it often comes in bursts, right? There's like scientific revolutions where people just have these amazing paradigm shifts, and then there's all this new invention around it. And the most interesting thing is that it typically happens at periods of desperation and periods of great turmoil, where it's clear that no one wants to change. I mean, no one wants things to stay the way that they are, and everyone is very motivated for something new and something that will alleviate all the chaos, I would say, and dissatisfaction. Full time for the world. The fact that it's global, the fact that we're all in this, I think will be a stimulus for us to move ahead in a very invigorating way, I would say, because we'll be highly motivated to do so. And I know even in my own personal life, most of what I've done that I feel that has been significant in terms of its impact on others is typically during times of stress and difficulty for me. So even though, as I said, you know, we lament that this is a horrible time in history, I think we can benefit from it as well. And I think we will see that. And I'm sure there's many more things to come. We'll never want to experience this again.
In your work and in technology, you've created literally a connection point through voice over IP. And are there some things you've learned from inventing? You are the holder of about 200 patents, from what I understand, and learning through failing and learning through research and development and decision making. Are there some things that you can draw from your experience that would be valuable to those who are even listening today and thinking about joining this quest to kind of frame the future better?
Yes. What I would say to that is almost all my inventions stemmed from failure. And it could be the case that it was a failure of like what just happened to Linda Wei in terms of dropping off. You know, we can think of ways where we could maybe automatically through the network connect her back in. So it's like you have to have this mindset when you look at problems in the world that they are solvable, right? And all they're waiting for is for someone to come along and fix that and realize that you just don't have to be a victim of trouble and problems, that you can actually rise above them and fix them. And then in the journey to fix them, right, it also involves a lot of failure. You know, when voice over IP first came into being, it was a total failure. And many, many people believed that putting voice over the internet was ridiculous, and it was like a toy. And there were many, many skeptics, and they were right. They were right for that time. They were right. But with a lot of work and a lot of testing, a lot of experimentation, you see what we've accomplished today. And it's very ubiquitous, and it's in wide use. And thank goodness that, people had the fortitude to keep going. I just think we have to believe and realize that inventors are just humans, and they're very much like us. And anyone can have, an innovative idea. And we have to share those ideas, collaborate with each other so that they can be realized. And I find, and I want anyone who's young to realize that children have like a very, very rich imaginations. And that's what you need to have for invention, is almost to be childlike in your understanding of the world, which is a little naive, but also not inhibited by what's possible. I love working with children because they're so creative, and they're just bursting with new ideas.
We have many people listening here who are also inventors, innovators, who are disruptors in their own circles and spaces. What advice would you give the young women and men that you work with as well?
A lot of invention kind of happens, outside in the world, and you're collaborating with others, but the mindset for it is internal to you. And despite whether or not you're accepted or how difficult your life may be, kind of go inside of yourself and find that childlike hope and imagination, and just keep that growing and nurture that throughout your life. And don't let that die off as you grow older, because that's where I think your source of change is going to be.
What gives you hope, and what gives you strength to invent and to keep that childlike hope alive?
When you look at the amount of need there is in the world, and you forget about your own circumstances, but you get in touch with where the pain points are in the world, that's what gives me both the motivation to keep going and thinking of new things that can help, but also the concern to keep going and the necessity of that, especially pulling other people along so that you leave a pathway once you leave the earth, that other people can step into your place.
The world is very, very open to change, and it can be changed. Though I had an unconventional childhood in that my parents gave me so much freedom to explore. And my father was a person who always encouraged me to ask why. And growing up in Manhattan as well, it expanded my horizons. It made me realize that the person that I am is not the person that everyone else is. People have very different perspectives on things, and that the way that they see the world and their needs are very different. To this day, it influences me. In fact, it drove me or helped me decide that I did want to work for Bell Labs because I loved the diversity there.
These inventions are used so much in our everyday world. We want to be able to live without these, and we must thank our Asian African ancestors for the knowledge, intelligence, and inventions they have brought to the world.
Campaign Africa, channeling wealth to good use.